Well, hi everybody, welcome once again to my video blog. So today I went shopping with a cross-dresser friend to try and find some clothes that I could wear this summer, and I guess I was especially thinking of an invitation my friends made to go clubbing next weekend, so I bought some tops that are kind of clubby like the one I'm wearing right now, and I seemed to pass pretty well once again, and the salespeople were really helpful, so overall it went pretty well, and I think I was a little bit more confident than other times, so overall pretty positive experience. But today I'm going to talk about a controversial topic, and that topic is the sex change operation. So it seems that when you're a male to female transsexual, one of the questions that's burning on everybody's lips when you tell them that is whether or not you've had a sex change operation. They ask you, are you pre-op or post-op? And a bunch of people have asked me that question online, and I've stated in one of my previous videos at least once that I have no plans at this time to have a sex change operation, and that although I don't exclude the possibility of having it one day, I'm leaving it for much later. I don't really want to consider it until I've been full-time for at least a few years, and until I'm really sure that this is what I want, because in my opinion the sex change operation is the only thing that's really not reversible in male to female transition. There are many things that male to female transsexuals will do to feminize themselves, like taking hormones, like doing hair removal, and all of those things. But the hormones, if you go off of them, you'll masculinize pretty quickly. Your breast growth, will probably reduce quite a bit, and if it doesn't completely, you can get your breasts removed surgically pretty easily, just like the FTMs do. And the laser or permanent hair removal, it's not really reversible, although it might be, with a medication like Rogaine that makes your hair grow back, but it's not really a big deal. If you had permanent hair removal, you could still live as a man. So if you're a male to female transsexual, very much until the point where you would get a sex change surgery, you could technically completely stop your transition and resume living as a man. And you can be pretty sure that your penis would still work properly for the most part, although you might have become sterile as a result of hormone therapy, which you can circumvent again by freezing sperm. So the sex change operation is really that part of male to female transition that is absolutely not reversible. Although then you might argue that you can reverse it, but it's not really true. You might very well lose the capability to have an orgasm, and you can't have erections naturally anymore, etc. Having a second sex change is probably not something you want. So that's one of the reasons why I've been, not committing myself to having a sex change. It's because I want to be really sure that this is what I want. Another reason is that, as most of you probably know, I have a girlfriend, and I am sexually active with her, and we have vaginal intercourse, and she likes it, I like it, and I don't really see the need to have a vagina right now, sexually speaking. And to be honest, I'm not really sure that I want to go through all the trouble of a sex change operation. It's a lot of money. It's something like $16,000. If I want to get it done here, I have to get certified by psychologists, psychiatrists as being sane enough to have the operation. That costs a lot of money again, because I have to stick with each therapist for maybe up to a year before they'll give me their authorization. And then there's all the risks associated with the surgery, and then in the end what you get is not true female reproductive organs. It's an imitation of the outside part of female reproductive organs, of the vagina. but it doesn't lubricate itself like a real vagina. It doesn't allow you the possibility of carrying a baby just yet. And to me, those are important downsides, you know. They're pretty important to me because I would like to be a woman just as much as any other male to female transsexual out there, you know, but I would really like one day to have children of my own, and I would really like to be able to carry a baby, for example, but currently the sex change can't allow me to do that. If it does one day though, then I would probably, you know, be one of the first ones to want to sign up for a sex change that could give me the possibility to carry a baby myself. But currently it's not possible. There are downsides. And I think it kind of sucks that, you know, people just assume that if you're a male to female, you're going to get a sex change. You're going to want to get a sex change. Especially since if you look at the male to female transsexuals on the internet, most of them are pre-op. You know, the vast majority of the community at any point in time seems to always be pre-op. And there's many people who take years to get the operation, and there's some that just decide that they never want to get it. And I think it's a choice that should be respected. You know, I think there's a lot of hostility inside and outside of the trans community to these people, these transsexuals who might just be non-op, might just never get a sex change operation, because people pressure us to do this because they think that's the defining characteristic of a woman. You know, they think that a woman has a vagina, a woman has no penis. You know, people still think that in 2009, and I think it's kind of sad because, quite frankly, you know, is that what it is? You know, being a transsexual, you don't really count as a woman until you get a sex change operation. The hormones don't count, but when you get your penis reversed, you get an expensive surgical procedure, bam, you're a woman now. Is that how it works? Is that the message we want to send to society? You know, that we want to be women so bad that we have to get the operation to certify ourselves as women? And do we want to let society dictate that this is the way to become a woman, to have the sex change surgery? You know, I always think that, you know, accepting transsexuals, accepting that gender identity is something real, and that your gender is not just your body, should mean that you accept that there are people out there whose gender doesn't match their body, and that these people, you know, these people like me, I have a man's body, which I'm in the process of modifying, but I think I should be allowed to be recognized, you know, as a transsexual woman. But as a woman, nevertheless, even though I still haven't had the operation, even though I might never have it, you know, I think maybe that pisses people off. That I might say something like that for many reasons, because maybe some men feel threatened by this. You know, they feel that the idea of a woman like a penis, or someone who looks a lot like a woman and passes as a woman but has a penis, is really threatening to them, because they could be attracted to me and I have a penis, and in their mind it's like I'm trying to trick them into being gay or something. But it shouldn't be, because I have never slept with a man, and at the moment I have no plans of doing so, and I don't want to make anybody gay, and I don't think being attracted to me should make you gay. You know, if you see me as a woman, if you think that I'm feminine and beautiful and you're attracted to me, then you're attracted to someone who looks in every way like a woman, so how does that make you gay? It doesn't. And then I think there's other people who might be pissed off at non-op transsexuals like me, because really it's like I'm trying to have my cake and eat it too, isn't it? Like, I want to become a woman, but at the same time I'm into women, so I want to like become a lesbian, and at the same time I still want to be able to use my penis sexually, and that totally mind boggles people, and in some cases might just piss them off, because they think it's like I'm trying to have my cake and eat it too. And some people might even think it's impossible, you know, because a lot of the time when transsexuals, male to female transsexuals, get on hormones, it makes their penis unable to have erections, for example. It makes them impotent, and that makes normal vaginal sex impossible. But personally, after years of experimenting with anti-androgens and different forms of estrogen, I've been able to find a hormone regimen that doesn't have that unfortunate side effect. So I can have normal vaginal sex now without resorting to stuff like Viagra or Cialis. I can just do it naturally. And it works just fine. And I think that might make a lot of people uncomfortable, that idea, because they think that it's unfeminine to have vaginal sex, using your natural genitalia that you were born with. They think that that counters the idea of wanting to become a woman. And I can understand why people would think that. I can understand why people would think that me keeping my genitalia, and not only that, but also using it in the natural way, might not be something very feminine to people. But to me, that's not what transition is about. To me, transition is not just about having sex where I'm the one being penetrated. It's about living my life and being treated as a woman in my everyday life. It's about passing. It's about being seen as a woman. It's about living in the social role of a woman. It's about all of those things. And I think my girlfriend is very comfortable with the fact that I'm trans, and I think she kind of sees us as a lesbian couple. And we do girly stuff together. And she just accepts my feminine side and has no problem with it. And she also has no problem with the fact that I have a penis, because, well, she likes penises, let's say it. And I don't have a problem with it either. I do not hate my genitalia. There, I've said it. I think that's one of the things that people assume from male to female transsexuals. It's that one of the most determinant signs that you're a male to female transsexual is that you hate your penis so much that if you don't have the sex change operation, you're going to cut it off yourself with a pair of scissors like these, snip, snip, snip. And you hate it so much that you're going to try to cut your own penis so that they give you the surgery or something. That's something we hear about very often, transsexuals who really hate their penises, and I am not one of them. And to some people that means that I'm not a transsexual, but I don't know. I've always wanted to be a woman. I have always thought that I would be very happy to be one of the girls, and to me that's one of the defining characteristics of a transsexual. That I feel like a woman inside, and I want to be one outside, and I want to live as one in society. But now, you shouldn't misunderstand what I'm saying here, because what I'm saying is not that I like being a she-male, or being a transsexual who never gets the operation. That's not the point. The point is, if I could be a genetic girl and have a vagina, if you could give me a magic potion that could give me that, I would take it right now. I would love to have a vagina. I love vaginas. I would like to have one. I prefer them to penises. I would prefer to have one for myself. The problem is, I can't really get one. The only thing I can do to get close to that is spend a year with a therapist, then save $16,000 or more to get the surgery, then get the surgery, then go through all the pain of surgery and dilating and all of those things, and in the end get something that cosmetically looks a lot like a vagina, but is not a 100% accurate representation of one. And to me, that's just not something that I really want. And I guess a lot of transsexuals don't like the idea that there are people like me who will settle for their natural genitalia because the sex change is not the primary goal of their transition. The sex change is not the primary goal of my transition. But it's funny because we seem to fully accept it in FTM transsexuals who were born as little girls and grow up to be men. The sex change surgery for them is just really not as good as the one that male to females can get. It's in general not very satisfying, so a lot of them just never get it. And they don't get it because they don't really want to spend all that money because it's even more expensive, and because they don't find the end result to be satisfactory to them. And we fully accept that from female to male transsexuals, but from male to female transsexuals, if someone like me says, well, the surgery is expensive and it's not really fully satisfactory, it's not exactly what I want to have, then people don't always seem to understand that. But like I said, there might be many reasons why people don't fully understand that. You know, in the case, it's very funny because the dynamic is very different between MTFs and FTMs. You know, in FTMs, people don't seem to feel threatened if they don't want to have the surgery, you know? People don't seem to feel threatened by the idea of a woman cross-dressing as a man. You know, if a woman is going to wear male clothes, and I'm not talking about transsexuals here, I'm talking about a genetic woman. If a genetic woman wears male clothes and walks in the street, people won't really say anything. People start to feel threatened when there's a male who tries to look feminine. People feel really threatened by that, and by people I mean men. Men feel threatened by that because they feel like their sexual orientation is really challenged by that. But things don't go the same the other way. You know, when women want to look masculine, other women generally do not feel threatened by that. They do not really have a problem with it. It's really in the case of male to female transition that you see this issue, I think, and that you see that the sex change operation seems to be really the defining characteristic of a transsexual. But at the same time, it's kind of a twisted dynamic because you have a lot of people who feel maybe threatened by pre-op transsexuals, but at the same time you have like a whole cult of the she-male on the internet. You have all of this she-male porn that is everywhere, and you have all of these admirers that are totally into transsexuals who still have penises because they love that idea, they love the concept of that. So I think it's a really weird situation, but in the end, you know, I would say that maybe people should live and let live. You know, maybe people shouldn't assume that what I am doing and what other male to female transsexuals are doing is ultimately wanting to have a sex change. You know, what I want to do is to live as a woman and to be at peace with myself. And since I've started hormones, since I've started feminizing, I've been more and more and more at peace with myself. And nowadays I can almost say like I don't really feel like I have GID so much anymore. Or at least, well, yeah, I still do. I still don't really feel fully comfortable with my body. I still feel like I'm too masculine for a bunch of reasons, which I won't enumerate right now. But I feel much, much, much more comfortable than I did, you know, a year ago when I was off the hormones. And I would cry quite often because I was so unhappy about my condition, so unhappy about my body and the way I looked. And I've been uncomfortable with myself for years, but now I'm finally beginning to be comfortable. And I found a girlfriend who accepts me, and I think that's great. So that's it for today, people. Bye bye.